What's up, GamerNation? It's your boy Heretic, coming at you with the review for the Division beta. Now, first of all, I want to say sorry for my leave of absence. There's a couple things that stopped me from getting this video up sooner. First being, I wanted to get as much information and gameplay and footage from this beta as possible. This beta was extended, so it pushed this video out by a couple days. But I just wanted to make sure I got all the information necessary to give a proper analysis and review. And second, it's very hard to start up a new channel and make time to do this kind of thing. You have to get the footage, you have to write down your thoughts, you have to organize everything to make everything as streamlined as possible. It can get in the way of my personal life, but I apologize. But I am trying my best to make an official schedule for you guys to follow. And I will update you as necessary when the time comes. So, the Division. This game is brought to you by Ubisoft. The same Ubisoft who sold you Assassin's Creed Unity. And we all know how that worked out, right? It seems like it's the biggest publishers who have the worst problems of pushing a game out before it's actually ready. The game was released in a broken state. And you know, same with Rainbow Six. The game also had problems with connectivity issues and whatnot, and that's an online only game. Considering that was only half a game, I'm kind of concerned about this one because, you know, it's mostly the same people that make these games. So the Division, huh? We're not worried about this at all, are we? It's only the next hyped game after Destiny, right? And we all know how that turned out. Destiny was the most overhyped, overmarketed piece of generic content, idea, IP, whatever you want to call it, that ever existed in the gaming industry. It disappointed many people because they promised the world of this game, right? They promised it would revolutionize the industry, but it didn't, did it? No. You were all suckered into thinking that it was the second coming because, you know, it was being made by Bungie. Even though the Bungie 10 years ago is not the Bungie today, is it? No. So the question is, does this game make similar promises and under-deliver? Well, not as much, in my opinion. Yes, it's true that certain things were downgraded, like, you know, graphics, content. I'll get to the content later because that's the most important. But for now, Ubisoft is giving this beta to test that fact. Actually, a couple betas. There might be another beta in February, which everybody can be a part of. But as for this closed beta, I was able to get a lot of details to share with you guys. So where to begin? Let's start with the story. Well, the story takes place in New York after a kind of terrorist attack. They weren't specific. I think it is good to flesh out your story, especially if you're promising one on a premise like this. You know, it's New York. It's very down to earth. It's real life. You know, they're trying to make it as personal as possible, or at least they should. So they should live up to that side of the deal, right? Of the promise that we're gonna get a good story in New York. Take back New York, which is essentially the premise. There has been some kind of biological attack from this unknown entity. We don't know if it's a faction or an organization or what, but there is this virus called the green poison. How original, you know. They must have hired some Bungie writers for that one. But the green poison has been set loose on New York and has ravaged the entire city. Even though I'm not sure how a virus can physically destroy buildings and cars and create all this destruction, as you see, right? Yeah, so that's how the story begins. You are a Division agent. I guess you're an undercover agent that is activated for these types of emergency situations, right? So you're dispatched to New York, and your objective is to take back New York? I don't know. They're being pretty vague on the story. I like the opening. The cutscenes are presented in a very nice fashion. They're very well acted, well voiced so far. As of right now, there's only like one major character that I've gotten acquainted with. That's your commander. I don't know. Miss Faye or whatever her name is. She appears to be nice. It appears that they're actually trying with characters. They're not just giving you some intel over the radio, some half-assed version of storytelling like we saw in Destiny with Dinklebot or Nolanbot as it is now. But the story is very intriguing so far. I hope they actually give us a beginning, middle, and end, because it's ridiculous to fight for New York over the course of 20 games, and two games, and over the course of $120 or $180 worth of DLC later. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can stretch this concept out just a little bit further if you flesh out the story and if you finish it, And I hope they do give us a beginning, middle, and end. But as for the story, it's Take Back New York. And who are you taking back New York from? Well, New Yorkers. Yeah, you're not really fighting terrorists per se in this game. The city has been in a state of complete chaos, so it's been taken over by different factions, right? But it's not from terrorists like the over-the-top Call of Duty games, mind you, or some PMC military organization, right? You're mostly going to be fighting against looters and rioters and New Yorkers. Yeah, pretty much. People don't like to think of it like that, but you're basically just shooting off, killing dead, out of control New York citizens. That's pretty much what I get from the game anyway. There's no real terrorists. It's just out of control New York people who are, I guess you could say they're in fear for their life, but really, why don't they let the CDC and the military come in and keep the peace? Why the hell do they have to form, factions and start burning up other people with their flamethrowers, right? So basically, the enemies are just out of control New York people. I'm sorry, but that's just what the game tells me. And it seems like they are trying to put some effort into the main mission, the main missions of the campaign. They are well structured. The first one takes place in I think it's Madison Square Garden. I don't know. This level that you see right here, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty structured as you would expect from a traditional single-player game, which I like. It's not too grindy where you actually need help. I found myself going through these missions with relative ease, actually, considering the TTK is very high, because this is another MMO third-person shooter where the system is based on numbers instead of actual bullets for obvious reasons. But I found the game very enjoyable to play alone, unlike where Destiny, it forces you to play with people just for the sake of doing it, because that's how the game was designed, just to pad out playtime. But that is not the case here. The game's very enjoyable to play single player or with cooperative, with friends, 3 other friends. Damn it. Anyway, but I think for now, in terms of story, I think they are trying to hold back a bit. I swear I don't want to believe that they're just gonna fuck off with the story, because they're not very committed to telling you what the actual threat is, as you can see in some of these cutscenes. But I'm very hopeful for the story, because I believe it is still a strong component of gaming. So, onto the gameplay. Well, as you can see, it is a third-person cover-based shooter. Your agent does have different sets of abilities. There are skills. There are perks working under the hood. So I believe you can customize yourself as you see fit. As I said, the TTK is time to kill is a little bit higher. It's not when it comes to the enemies, it's not so annoying like it is in Destiny. I believe Borderlands perfected the system, because the game was just so wildly varied in terms of, they gave us great weapons to use, they gave us great enemies to fight, they gave us great locations to fight in, they gave us a great character dialogue to listen to while we play. Everything was just perfect in that game to make you feel as if you were not grinding, right? It was perfect. But this game does have its slow moments. You will be running around New York City trying to fight different factions and take back New York, accomplishing different objectives, right? So if you're playing single player, what are these objectives? Well, some of them are attack, this faction, save this person, it's like I said, this game feels very casual in terms of what you can actually do, just like Destiny. It seems to appeal to the most, the lowest common denominator in order to appeal to the most, and in order to appeal to the biggest demographic, right? Nothing against that, but it just feels, the side missions that you play just feel very shallow, and they pale to comparison next to the excellent campaign, the one excellent campaign mission I played, which was very solid and very structured and had a flow to it. Whereas these side missions are just defend this water pump, or save this person, or help these JTF agents fight off these waves, right? Which is what I hate the most in games, is wave-based modes. But you know, it's there. You know, go here and shoot things. Even Destiny had tried to break things up with these jumping sections, which were kind of like mini puzzles, you know, but at least they varied from the traditional gameplay. But in this game, I think things for the side missions, things have been oversimplified. It's basically go here, kill this, or go here, kill this, and press buttons, and press more buttons. I'm sorry, but yeah, the side missions, they need a little bit more work, and they need a little bit more thought put into them as of this beta. And I'm hoping these missions do not become repetitive over the entire map, you know, copy and paste and whatnot, because I really think you can bring something more out of this, you know, like escorting, you know, like a lost child to a safety camp, right? Something like that. Just something simple, but something that hits you emotionally, because this is New York City, damn it, under a fucking terrorist attack, and we all want that feeling of I am protecting New York, you know, not just, oh, I am mindlessly gunning down out of control New Yorkers. Yeah, but as for the solo portion of the game, that's about it. You know, I'd like to go into deeper in my reviews about, you know, aspects such as graphics, but I really don't care about graphics, because this is, we're in 2016, okay? Graphics are going to get better. That's just a rule of thumb. Yes, things are going to get downgraded, but like I said, unless it's downgraded horribly to where it looks like dog shit, I probably won't touch on it, because, you know, PC gaming has, you know, there are different settings that they can use. Console gaming is still going to be somewhat restrictive, so I'm not going to be really going into graphics. The game looks okay, I will say that. You can tell just by the gameplay, and eventually the full eventual release, but the graphics look okay. And another aspect, you know, like the systems. I don't want to go too deep into the systems, because it's boring. It's just, you know, behind the scenes MMO RPG, you know, typical fare. You know, there will be numbers that'll increase your stats, decrease your stats, make you better than the other guys by fractions of percentages. Okay, that's kind of stuff is just boring to me. I want to focus on what this game is actually about. Okay, what it contributes to the industry, what new ideas it brings, what you will actually be doing with your time besides looking at menus. So I'm sorry if I skip over those details. So what will you be doing besides the solo portion that I just described? Well, there is co-op. You can do those same side missions and main missions with your buddy in co-op as well, up to 4 players, and you will be and I hope that goes for the entire campaign too. And also, you will be going into the dark zone. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of this. It's an out of control section of New York where players. This is pretty much your PvP area, where players can turn on each other for loot, and run around and fight NPCs together if they choose. But the primary function of this area would be better loot, because this is where you find the best loot. Even though to use this loot, you're going to have to go back to the PvE areas, the campaign areas, and level up in that area as well, and you know, upgrade your camps, technology section, your medical section, your intel section, in order to use these weapons. But this PvP mode is not traditional, and it might not appeal to all players like myself, because like I said, it just revolves around loot. It's not about learning New York and getting accustomed to the maps and just fighting the other guy and getting honing your tactics. It's just going into this area, looking for loot, and extracting this loot via helicopter, right? But the thing is, if you try to make fun out of this, there is fun to be had. There's some good times. You will have moments where where your group will run into other groups that are trying to take your shit and leave with it, right? But the reason being is for now because in this beta, everybody figured out what the best gun is, right? Everybody knows to heal themselves correctly, right? They'll equip those abilities. They'll equip the grenade launcher to do extra damage. You know, they'll hide behind shit to get the drop on you, which is nice. But eventually, everybody in this beta, for example, they will find the best shit and essentially become the same agent. And it pretty much makes everybody the same character, and that's not really fun, is it? Because if somebody kills you and takes your loot, you're gonna have to run after them before they get to their extraction, which can be fun. But if you happen to find them and they start running throughout the streets, they'll start hooking it, you know, and you're gonna have to start chasing them. And because you know there's no, as far as I could tell, there's no weapon weight to the characters and the amount of stuff that you have, they won't be slowed down. Everybody runs at the same speed, and the person you're chasing is going to be zigzagging, and you're going to have to stop and lose distance on him while you shoot him, and he's going to keep healing, and everybody runs at the same speed, and it's just one long chase. And there are trolls. If you don't like being trolled, this might not be the game for you, because you know, this is one of those gameplay types that brings out the scumbag in people. You know, they will screw you over for everything that you've got, even though that there are risks and reward involved in this particular type of gameplay. Because like I said, this is a methodical third-person game, right? You have to think about your scenarios, you have to think about your positionings, and that being said, overall, the skill gap in this game compared to other games is higher, especially in Destiny, because mainly of the TTK, right? If somebody starts shooting at you, you have time to turn around or run away or flee. You have the entire city to do this. So that I believe the skill gap is higher, though it can be annoying when you're trying to actually kill people or survive.
Oh, what do we have here?
So this section is pretty much going to be the longevity part of the game. This is what's going to give you that extra playtime, even though it will appeal to some people. I'm not sure how it's going to treat new players who wait like about 3 months to buy the game, because by then everybody will have all the best shit. Everybody will have all the super duper mega ultra loot chests mapped out, and they will probably have an advantage, especially when you know, if you're a skilled player, it will definitely show. That's what I like about these type of games. If you're good, then you can actually outsmart and out maneuver and outthink the other guy, right, to get ahead. But I'm just not sure about the long-term effects of the PvP area, and especially when it's like a major part of the game, right? I would say, you know, Destiny was more 80% PvE oriented than PvP oriented, and this game seems to be closer to the 50-50 spectrum than Destiny. And yeah. So, how does this beta feel overall? Is it overhyped? Does it live up to expectations? Instantaneously, I would say no. If you're a graphics whore, you will be saddened by the downgraded graphics, even though they do look nice from my point of view in full 1080p. I hear that the Xbox One version does dynamic resolution, so the game adjusts frames per second on the fly, which will annoy the shit out of some people because it's not stable. It doesn't look great. As for the gameplay, it is solid, it is fun, it is functional, but there just doesn't seem to be that much imagination put into it, because it is just it is basically an open world, a bigger level that you put your third person character in, just for more cover-based shooting. There's not very innovative ideas there. Even though you are a semi-futuristic agent with a lot of gadgets, I believe that will add a lot more complexity and depth as we come near the full retail version and see a lot more variation there. I hope there's way more of those than they're presenting here, which will most likely be. I hope that the story is actually full and satisfying. I hope there's a satisfying conclusion that doesn't sequel bait you. I hope there's not dumb writing in it. Like there is some dumb dialogue by this one character who's your communications officer, I think, and I'm very hopeful for the single player campaign. Again, it's not very grindy like Destiny, so I think an ordinary player like me who usually goes solo, who doesn't really party up that much, I think those solo players will enjoy this game a little bit more. I'm not sure about the later part of the game in the campaign, but for now it seems like any solo player can go through easily enough, I think. And as for the in-game content in these type of MMO shooters or in this loot shooter, I know that's a big deal, but in my opinion, what's the big deal about in-game content? I say that the game should be have strong content all the way around. It should grip you in the beginning, it should hold your attention in the middle, and it should go out with a bang in the end game, right? And for the post game, I'm not sure what they have planned. They are going to sell us a $40 expansion. Let me just do the math right there. 60 plus 40 is, yeah, $100 worth of shit so far for this game. Honestly, I did not like Destiny at all, and I feel that if Ubisoft just gave us everything in $60, maybe even push the game back for another 6 months just to put all this content in, because you know damn well that they can, I think that they would just kill Destiny, flat out just kill it, because they would be offering the highest value possible, and they would keep. I believe that this is one of those games that could, with hard work and more imaginative ideas put into the gameplay, right, that they could outdo any other MMO mainstream console game out right now. Though I just don't know why they don't do that. But as for the expansion, they are offering 3 main parts. The first expansion being called Underground, and you know, it's very unique how the way they fucking detail all this shit. See, this is what I find shady about you know, corporate game developers. Is because they will ask you for $40, right? But they won't tell you what you're buying. So by all accounts, please do not pre-order any of this shit, because you really don't know what you're paying for, and all they're really offering for your money is a concept. They're not selling you gameplay or giving you specifics. They are selling you an idea of gameplay, and to give money for that is just unfathomable. But anyway, the first expansion is called Underground, right? It will let a squad of 4 players explore new territory. So I just want to go more in detail into this, right? Because this is important. This is what I'm talking about. This is the main flaw in gaming right now, is the extra content sold to us later, right? So the Underground, they don't give you any details. They just say you can explore new areas. Well, that's a new level. It's probably going to be Brooklyn, right? Because a few years ago, as we've seen in trailers, we've seen Brooklyn before the game launched, and there's been a lot of controversy as to whether they're going the Destiny route or the Bungie route or the Activision route, where they cut all this shit out and sell it to you later, right? I mean, if for one, if any of this content was so important, why the hell do they have to sell it for us later, right? That makes me think it's just not worth it. And 2, if it isn't worth it, I mean, then why pay for it at all if it's not important, you know? But yeah, all they're offering right now is just an idea that you might get a new level, most likely Brooklyn, right? But again, that's not the point of a game. The game is to what can you do in it, right? And the second expansion for this DLC package is some kind of survival thing, right? That's all they say. It's just players have to survive in a hostile environment that will challenge even the most hardcore Division players, you know. And what does survival mean to my brain? You know, survival in my mind is just a fancy way of saying horde mode. Jesus Christ. We're in New York City, and all you can give us is a horror mode. I'm sorry I'm being sounding a little bit negative right now. but it just sounds like an extra game mode that we can live without, you know, because we've experienced that since, you know, what, Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2, where you're just fighting waves of enemies. It's fun for a while, but it's just so unimaginative, and it's just not worth that asking price, you know. And for the third expansion, guess what? Guess what we're getting? We're getting something called The Last Stand. And that's it. Yeah, they're selling you a title for now, okay? They're not giving you any details of gameplay, okay? See, this is why I tell you not to lay down your money for this shit, because if they can't even give you details, then it probably isn't very cool, you know? Because if it was cool, they'd give you something, but no, they're just giving you a title. They're not giving you any promise of a new location, or they're not promising that it's any special event. Hell, they're not promising that it's even a story mission that could, you know, enrich the established story that's supposed to already be in the main game, right? So yeah, please don't put your money down on this. You're supporting bad gaming. I'm sorry. I'm not 100% saying that this DLC is going to be shit. I'm just saying for $40, they're going to give you something. And whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's not that significant. And in that case, they should have just put it in the main game. But this is Ubisoft we're talking about. Some of their DLC practices have been okay. Like, they've been giving Rainbow Six Siege players free maps. You know, and free operators, even though they make you pay a season pass for $30 to get those operators for 1 week free. I mean, what the hell's the point of that? You're gonna pay $30 just to show off for 1 week and say that you're a badass, that you're special? I mean, that's another thing you have to watch out, because they will tailor this DLC to you know, match that kind of psychology. I mean, we're flawed in that kind of way, because we will go for the best shit and just outdo others just for the sake of doing it. And this is video games, after all. Be realistic. But as for that, the game is looking okay, to be more precise. I do wish that there was more things in this game. It seems for the most part you're just running around New York. Sometimes it seems more like a running simulator than anything, because the firefights are so few and far in between, and the firefights and the gunfighting is the main draw of this game, right? You're shooting up shit in diseased, ravaged New York, right? And those sections are just too few and far in between. And I'm hoping that they there's no way they can actually build off of co-op in the PvE areas, but I hope they make it more interesting in the PvP areas. I hope they give us free events, because that's another thing in the DLC. They said that they were going to that they would these special events exclusive to those who pre-ordered the DLC first. And I'm just so worried about that right now. I mean, if this game is shit, I will be the first one to tell you guys. But until then, we will just have to wait and see. That does it for the beta review, guys. Just some updates to my channel. I know that this review, my reviews and previews can be pretty long. That's just because I want to go so in depth. I have so much to say about these every little specific parts. I can make like an hour video if I wanted to. But I want to keep it as small as possible. I know 30 minutes is pushing it for you guys, but I want to give you my ideas. That's why I am here. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for subscribers, even though that's nice too. I do it to make video games better. I want to inform you guys about the decisions you're making, because sometimes these fucking corporations, I hate to be that corporate guy who, you know, hates the man, but digital content is too easily manipulated, and you know, marketing is very manipulative too. So I just don't want you guys to go down that dark road. You know, I want to help the industry make great games, and unfortunately, the only way to do that these days is to vote with your wallet and make informed decisions. And that's why I'm here. Updates to my channel. Like I said, I will be getting a schedule up and running. I am going to be streaming new games on Twitch, so follow me on that. And yeah, I will keep bringing you guys these videos as often as possible, just to improve your gaming experience over the years. You know, and with that being said, I appreciate all the views I can get. This is Heretic, signing off.